Welcome to Burn the Ship. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming. I want to say that first. Anybody that makes the trip, takes the time to come up here, it means a lot to me. So thank you very much for coming up here and
Yeah.
chatting with us. This is the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in, you being the professional, the people watching being the entrepreneurs. But really, we want to know, what goes on inside people's business from an entrepreneur perspective. We want to talk to people that have walked the walk and talked the talk and experience all the things that we experience as entrepreneurs, so that hopefully we can bottle up some of those traits and skills and pass them on to that next generation of business owners. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend? Thanks again for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Mary Stewart. I am the owner of Quick Win Bookkeeping. I opened Quick Win in 2021 during COVID. I was working for a company, and it was getting hit pretty hard from the effects and other personal things that were going on, and I could kind of see the writing on the wall, so to
Sure.
speak. So I decided it was time to look at what I needed to do my next step. I had wanted to do business before, my own business, and I decided it was time to take my talents and create something with it. So
Yeah, go to South
and I
Beach.
really like the idea of helping other business owners see their dreams.
For sure.
It's just kind of a
So,
drive
what
that I've
what
always
type
had.
of
So
business were you in before?
I worked at that time. I was working for a contractor.
Oh, cool. Doing bookkeeping.
I was his office manager,
Oh,
bookkeeping,
really?
all of it.
So
Yeah,
you were doing all of it.
yeah, yeah.
And so, what was the process like of kind of opening your own bookkeeping?
Well, obviously during
firm.
COVID, it had to be remote, which works out fine because it's all office type work.
Sure.
It's easy to do actually remotely. But I kind of scoured some stuff online to kind of get some inspiration and what initial steps, because I'm not a salesperson. Marketing's not my forte. I'm more in the
Fair.
backside.
Oh, it's a learned thing. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
7 years
yes.
into this same thing, and I've been good at it for 15 minutes. So,
Well, yeah, it's definitely, that's been definitely by far the more challenging side of what I do. But so yeah, I just took the leap, invested in some money, get some courses to kind of help me get some direction as to how to start getting some clients and such, especially in the virtual world and being remote, etc. I primarily do my marketing on Facebook, and we've ventured out now to Instagram. I do a little bit of LinkedIn, but I just kind of got started and started reaching out, and I focused my energy on service-based businesses, including contractors, etc., and plenty of others. I've worked with nonprofits, etc. So I've kind of just taken a lot of what I have learned throughout life, at different places that I've worked throughout my life, and kind of just bringing that all into this, and then really taking the talents and skills that I already had and putting it into the business. So from that aspect, it's been fairly easy jumping into that aspect. I primarily work with QuickBooks Online, or clients that have QuickBooks Online. And then for as far as like getting out, I mean, obviously the first year was definitely a struggle. There's
Yeah.
lots of mental battles that you have.
oh yeah,
You're like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Did I take the right step? Because you're struggling. I mean, it's just, and you hear other people say that it's the struggle, and you're like, okay, yeah, it is, but and then you question yourself.
oh
But
yeah.
I just kept pushing forward, and I actually pulled in a friend of mine. I was like, okay, you're more of an outsy person, so maybe you can help me a little bit. And so I kind of pulled her in a little bit at a time, and now she works with me almost full time, helping
Selling.
me. Actually, she does do that, but she actually wanted to get into the bookkeeping side
wow.
too. So
Learn a skill. I can
yeah,
respect that.
yeah. So we do a lot of that, and we're just kind of building it from there, and it's really taken off, which has been great.
That's good. So a lot of
yeah.
contractors, a lot of HVAC and plumbers and people that come to your house and fix stuff, I'd imagine.
Some of them, but actually, the most of my clients have at this point become lawyers, law firms.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I really
What is
like
it
working
about
with
that
them.
space that there is the void of bookkeeping? What is it about that space that you do well that is allowing you to kind of break into that space?
Um, That's a good question. I would say that for one, obviously, I mean, they're lawyers. That's what they're focusing. That's what they got trained in, right? So they're not typically, especially if they're out on their own and they're just starting their businesses and stuff, they're not gonna, that's just not their forte, right? But they have a lot of restrictions, especially when it comes to their bookkeeping, especially if their particular law practice is anything that has to deal with trust, which a lot of them are.
Oh, yeah.
Not all of them, but a lot of them are. And if they have to deal with trust and stuff with their client books, they have to be in compliance and
Yeah,
and
we've
make sure
we've run into that as well with the trust accounts as well as credit card processing, right?
Yep.
So people pay you with a credit card, and then that money has to go into a trust, but no fees can come out of what they actually paid you with the credit
Exactly.
card and the trust account. Yeah,
Right. Yep.
we've learned
It's
our
got to
way
be
to
split in certain things.
yeah, we've
Yep.
learned our way to tiptoe around that. That was a learning experience for me because the first lawyer, family lawyer that I signed up was like, hey, if you mess this up, like we're gonna get disbarred, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, it's
Oh.
very yeah.
yeah,
they
it's a
have
serious
very-
industry. I guess that's why they preach, probably on the business side of learning law is like let people do what they're good at. It's probably not a hard thing
Oh,
to
yeah.
teach a lawyer, is let someone do that with that level of expertise shine
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that thing because that would be me. Hire someone literally day one because
Absolutely.
it would be my only like I would want to go do what I'm good at. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, I could understand that, especially from that that level of that industry. It's just a lot of intricacy that goes into
Yes, there
the
is.
field of law that a lot of people don't know about. So
And they all can be
lawyers,
very different, though. It's
that's for sure.
and
And
each
every
state-
type of
each
lawyer,
state, yep.
yeah, is definitely doing their own thing, communicating their own way. Each client I would say is a little bit of its own beast, probably in that world. But it's cool. They're awesome clients, and they don't change a lot. They definitely don't change payment processors a lot. I would imagine maybe they go find another lawyer to represent themselves, or maybe a bookkeeper or an accountant. Probably changes a little bit more frequently than their payment processor, but I would imagine that your retention rate is incredible.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I can understand that. So, starting your business right after COVID, or I guess right before.
During it, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Towards the end of it, but still
and then
in
bringing
it,
on
yep.
someone to kind of help you. What is your day-to-day like now? Are you kind of still in that mode of going out and grabbing clients? Are you interacting with your existing clients a lot day-to-day?
All of it.
Yeah,
I'm
doing
still,
all the things.
As I'm reading a lot of other stuff, of course, I get lots of things coming to me saying, hey, are you doing this, etc. And what I'm definitely finding is I'm still in the weeds a
Yeah.
lot. I still have interactions quite a bit with the clients. I'm still doing the books for some of them, obviously. And so, yeah, I'm still a lot in the weeds, but also I've got envisioned of things I want to do. We're adding advisory services as of now to our clientele and reaching out. We're actually in the process of
What's that mean,
preparing stuff.
advisory? Like,
Advisory, it's kind of a step up, kind of, if you think about a corporation, they usually have a CFO
Yeah.
that helps it, the CFO looks over the financials, etc. They're kind of the head over it and decide what needs to be
so
happening.
you're kind of that traffic light, right?
So
it's
to
like,
speak.
like when things are going
Is
from
this-
green to yellow, you want to be the
help,
one to
and
tell
you help
them
the
that.
business owner make
sure.
decisions, because sometimes it's hard, you don't know what,
I think all the time it's hard. Yeah.
But true. This is very true.
For me, at least, I don't know.
But
I'm sure there's
sometimes
some people out
you don't
there
know
that
with a
just,
financial aspect
Right.
what impact something might have, and things like that. And so if they don't know what that means, they can come to an advisor and you kind of go over that. But you also you kind of help give them direction or let them see. Okay, yeah, here's the financial statements, but what does it mean?
yeah.
And a lot of times they don't know what it means.
I mean, I've seen people 20 years into their industry that really don't understand money. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen people rolling in money that really don't understand money or what to do with money or, tax deferred money. Like, a lot of those things are learned through time. And some of the best people that I have met when it comes to their ability to make money know the least about money in general, right? So I think that is a strong and lawyers may be in that world. You can only know. I guess it's not you can only know so much because you can know as much as you want to know, but when you're in a field that commands as much learning as yours or mine or the practice of law or whatever that may be, even contracting, like
Sure.
there is a level of expertise that you have to be able to provide whenever you're talking about engaging as your own brand and your own business. And that, I think, is the biggest value for someone like yourself, is that everybody, to give a good analogy, everybody kind of has their business superpower, right?
Right.
Yours is the rarest one, I think, is the understanding and ability to put your pulse on a business and understand whether it's living and
Whether
breathing
it's
and happy
doing
and
well.
growing, or it's dying and shrinking slowly, because I mean, sometimes you just don't realize the trajectory of your business until you've already landed at that spot. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like,
Right. Until it's like,
yeah, it's like an
something's
airplane.
wrong.
It's like you can't, when you start to descend in an airplane, it's like you can feel that shift from up to down, But you're not right above the airport. You're not above the landing strips. Like you're so far away a lot of times you can't even see. You're 30,000 feet in the air. You don't know where you're descending to. And like that, I think, is a lot of like what small business is it's hard to see whether you're ascending and descending, and like gross revenue is not always the number that identifies those things. It's a lot of things. There's a lot of moving pieces in the business world, and I can understand why having a good bookkeeper is very, very vital. Let me ask you this: what was very difficult at the beginning of your business? I know you said that sales was not your forte.
Definitely the sales and the marketing, getting the traction of that.
So how do you kind of attack that as a new business owner, someone that is confident in the value that you're going to be bringing to your clients, and the number one problem that you have on day one is that I need to go get some more clients. A lot of people could probably relate to that. They feel
absolutely.
good at what they do. They're excited about the service that they're going to bring to the people that are paying them money. And then day one starts and they're like, oh, I didn't know that I needed to go and be figuring out sales and how to go get clients. Like that's brand new to me. So how do you tackle that as a new business?
For me, I knew that I didn't have the skills. I knew I just didn't have any clue what to do. So for me, it was getting out there and finding a program that I could invest in. I knew it was going to be an investment. And so that's the way I looked at it. Sometimes it's about the mindset, right?
For sure.
So that's the mindset I put in my head, that I've got to invest in this or it's not going to happen.
So did you get a business coach, sales training?
Yeah, I got some training. I got into a program. Actually, I've done a couple programs, to be perfectly honest. I started off with one. I knew it had some marketing specific components to it, so I kind of started from there, and then I just implemented what they were teaching me to do. And then from there, I actually jumped into a couple of other ones, and then I found another one that really had some aspects of it that really seemed to click with me better.
Yeah.
And so
a lot of them are very personal. I mean, a lot of them are very presentation is everything.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. And there's lots. I can definitely tell you that from other bookkeepers, I'm in lots of groups, like Facebook, etc., with lots of bookkeepers and such.
Bookkeepers seem to be a pretty tight-knit community.
Yeah. And so there's lots of different ways to go about it. I mean, some people do a lot of networking, and they're really good at it. And, they're focused on local and, but maybe they don't have a niche that they're focusing on or things like that. So there's lots of different ways to go at it. Networking wasn't my stronger suit. I did try a couple of them, but it just wasn't the thing that was clicking for me. So yeah, I dove in and decided I had to invest in that. That was the piece that I knew I had to invest in for my business to be able to work, and without it, just wasn't going to happen.
For sure.
And so we've just literally, we're out there daily pushing things to grow an audience, and then build from that.
Yeah, just engage.
Yep.
I mean, if there's anything that I could tell you that I've learned from the podcasting and video production space in general, is that sometimes as business owners we don't know what we don't know, right? Mm-hmm. And we think we want something that is not really in our best interest. And I would highly advise everyone that is going through that same experience to really just focus on engagement, right? Is don't be so picky about the way that you represent your brand. A lot of times just find ways to get people to engage with your content, because people seeing your content is going to lead to that know, like, and trust factor, and people will buy stuff from you.
True.
But if no one ever sees it, like, you can spend, I mean, you could hire me, and you could spend $100,000 on video production and get studio level stuff. And even if I took, like, this is what I've experienced, right, is if I make you exactly what you tell me that you want, you're going to be unhappy, even if I deliver you exactly what it is that you want, because it's not going to create any sort of engagement a lot of times.
Right.
So, like, for the people out there that are really agonizing over the way that you want to represent your brand, any marketing a lot of times is better than no marketing, with a little bit of an asterisk. You know, obviously you can do some damage the way you market, but if you're coming at it from a good place and you're you know, putting a lot of kind of thought into what it is, any marketing is better than no marketing. You know, is anything that you're doing to positively put any message about yourself or your business out there can do wonders for you. So yeah, engagement and getting people to click or getting people to see or getting people to follow is really it's really an uphill battle. You know what I mean? It's a tough thing, and no, I applaud you. I applaud, because it's something.
And you just have to be consistent.
100%.
Definitely, that's what I've learned. Consistency and just like you said, doing it daily. You know, we do it daily.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even want to conquer it, though. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to.
And don't give up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for you. I mean,
because it's easy to want to.
And if you give up even for a small period of time, you lose all your gas. You know, you lose all your traction.
Yep.
And so it's a tough thing. No, yeah, I think what you're doing is awesome. I think what you do is obviously very needed and important. Hopefully, we can find some people in our network to connect you with and bring some value to you. I don't think that'll be too hard, but what you do is awesome, because there are people like me, people like Ezra, people like a lot of the clients that we work with that want to do what they do well. And we want to find people that we know and like and trust that can do the things that we don't do very well, very well. And you seem to be one of those people.
Yeah.
And
that it fills a hole, and it, you know, I mean, I'm going to be looking for other people to fill in things that I can't do, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as I grow, then I can reach out and do more, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's
no
what
doubt.
I want to do. And to me, that's filling so many different things. Not only will I be able to bring people into my business doing that, but also those people and me can reach out and help the businesses that we're helping.
No doubt.
And I love that kind of rolling momentum, so to speak.
And I'm excited for you, because this, like where you are now, is where I truly feel like your business begins to take shape, right? 2-ish, 3-ish years in.
Yep.
You change the way that you think about your business, where you begin to work on your business and not in your business.
That's so funny. That's literally what I've been doing the past few months. That's kind of where my mind's been.
There's a click.
Kind of spinning.
Yeah, it changes, you know. And I mean, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what the impulse is that creates that impact for people. But sometimes people just decide, I don't want to be this size forever, and I'm going to start figuring out how to do some of those things that make me uncomfortable, that make me grow. So I applaud you.
Yeah,
it's a hard thing to do.
It is very hard to get uncomfortable, but yes, and that is another thing. Yes, mentally wise, you have to remind yourself that I got to get uncomfortable.
Oh yeah,
comfort doesn't help you grow.
100%, 100%. I think you're in a cool place. I think you're gonna do some cool stuff. I think this is gonna be a big year for you coming up. You know,
I sure hope so.
You get to paint the canvas however you want, and it's that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. You know? Let me ask you this. So before the podcast, we talked about this a little bit, or I don't think we talked about it, but maybe I dropped the nugget on you a little bit. As salespeople, we experience this thing between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and people just get a lot worse at communicating, right? And that's fine, because we fill our pipeline the way that we need to go to war with the lack of communication between Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? Everyone is in this I want to prepare for 2024 stage at the end of the year. Everybody wants to start off the year strong. Tell me this. What is everybody actually supposed to be doing in December of 2023 to give yourself a good understanding and perspective of what you need to do to make yourself successful in 2024?
That's a good question. So usually, okay, from a accounting bookkeeping perspective, year end is more focused on preparing your books and stuff to finish out the year, so that it's more about the coming tax season. It's more focus on that. So you want to get that. That's one thing. And then the other aspect is you want to get prepared, set your goals. You want to set goals for your next year. And from those goals, you want to, of course, create plans, things like that. And you want to, budget. This is a great time for budget. Typically, I'd even say even before now is a good time to budget. Start thinking about your budgets, depending on the size of your business, right? Small business can get away with it pretty quickly, whereas as you're growing, you want to put some really good thought into what you're talking about for the next year, because those goals will affect your budget, right? And your budget is what helps you keep on track and make sure you're doing what you need to stay in place, right? And you're going to go off. Don't expect it that you're not. It's always going to happen, right? But it's still the idea of the budget helps you plan also.
Yeah.
And it also helps you track as you're going. And you just have to make sure you've not only setting those goals, but you're setting the action plans in place to, okay, this is how I'm going to achieve those goals. And so that needs to be a focus so that you can go into that next year with an action.
Yeah.
You know what's going, okay, this is what we're going to do this year. And so you want to do all that stuff, obviously, before the year starts.
I would imagine your advice is be as detailed as you need to be as well to most of the people that are kicking around.
As much as you can, yeah.
I mean, just depending on your industry, right? Is like you may be able to get away with budgeting like, here's how much I'm going to spend on technology, here's how much I'm going to spend on marketing, here's how much I'm going to spend on advertising. Like you may be able to get pretty high level and break that into 5 or 10 categories and just go with it. Or you may need to get super granular about exactly how you're going to spend.
And some of that is also knowing what you have done and what you want to see. That's where you start analyzing.
Yeah, kind of allocating time and energy and
what
money into different
has really
things.
worked this past year, right? Or past 2 years, depending on, what your success rate's been. If this year's been a little bit muddy and the year before was really good, then you might want to look back at that one, right? But you want to figure out what's been working and what hasn't. And if you're not even sure, then that's why you need to analyze it, right?
No doubt.
And you're going to have fixed costs that are always going to be the same. Those are easy, right? But then you're going to have the ones that are advertising
Sliding
is always
scale,
a variable, right? And so you're going to want to focus. Advertising is actually a really good area to focus in on, because you want to see what was working that you spent money on and what wasn't working and why wasn't it working. That's also another piece. A lot of people just go, well, that wasn't working, and just blow it off. Well, why wasn't it working? Was there some aspect of it that wasn't working? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So maybe there's a way to fix that, or, you need to dive into it further to find out why, to get it to work. Maybe, you just got to check on, and again, then you also have to decide, is that worth you taking that effort, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Because it's all about time too.
Yeah, it's cost. Yeah, there's a cost. And it might not be money, but it costs you something.
It costs you time. And one thing I've definitely been learning that I wasn't learning at the beginning, even as a bookkeeper, is that, I would throw my time into things and not count it.
Yeah.
And not think about the time that I was putting into it. It's okay. It's my time, so I don't want, I didn't think about the cost that it was costing me to throw in the extra time to stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so
I do it every night. At my house, I go, why am I thinking about work?
Yeah, oh, yeah. And going to sleep, and you're still, I forgot to get that email out. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's my life. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's really, to me, the key thing that you need to be doing towards the end of the year. You need to not only be preparing so that you can close out for the year, checkup. But that you also need to be preparing for the next year. So you're kind of doing two things at one time.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. So that's probably why communication gets slower. Unfortunately, it's the holidays too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
people are busy with their holiday stuff. So it's then
Yeah,
you're
first week of
tangling
July
all
and
of it
this
trying
period of time right here.
and that's why I would usually
vacation
start.
year and
Yep.
holidays.
Yep, holidays. That's why I like to try and picture it, especially if you're thinking budgets and stuff. Think of it before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because then you've got that is a big nugget. It's huge and it's very important. And if you're doing that before then it makes it a little bit smoother with the other stuff.
I agree. If I could play the world's most liked devil's advocate here as well, is that don't fall asleep during this time. Like, how much time do you, I mean, I guess you can't give a good answer as to how much time it should take for everybody, but I think on average, if you're working 40 hours a week, maybe one of these weeks at the end of the year, you can spend an entire week agonizing over what you need to do to really understand going into the next year what you need to do.
At least, but it's usually a drawn out thing.
Yeah, that's what I've learned is like don't let 40 hours of good work cost you 160 hours. That I guess that's the piece of advice that I would give people as well, is that it can cost you the entire month of December. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you've waited.
Yeah, and then you go into 2023, or
and then
you
you're
go into 2024
to answer it, and then you're not really getting the really good.
And then you're trying to like splatter marketing on January 1 because no one's been to a networking group in 3 weeks, or no one's posted on Facebook. You know, like there's a lot of things that go on, and all of that is, just don't fall asleep at the wheel. Just lean on people like us. Lean on your bookkeeper, lean on your CPA, lean on your payment processor. Allow people to outline what it is that you pay them for, because I'm telling you right now, I don't talk about my industry a lot on the podcast, so don't fall asleep on me, whoever's watching, but payment processors are notorious about being ambiguous in their costs. If you have people that provide services to you in your business, you can absolutely ask them, what are you paying? And am I paying too much for that? And do I need to weigh replacing this with some better option?
Absolutely.
Like that's a good thing I would say to do at the end of the year, is understand what you're paying for and what it costs you, and understand if that value aligns with where you are in your day-to-day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I would say that as well. Don't fall asleep at the wheel. Lean on the people around you to ease some of that burden of trying to understand all of these things that is impossible for any one person to just really have the heartbeat on everything. And forgive yourself a little bit, because looking at the end of the year, it's easy to look back and think, oh, this year got away from me if this year was a little muddy, like you said. Yeah. It's easy to think, oh, 2022 was better than 2023. I must have done something wrong. The landscape is ever moving around you.
It's a constant.
100%. And you just want your waves to be up here and not down here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we've given people some good tidbits, and I don't think we're telling people anything they don't already know. It's just a little perspective, Like,
sometimes you just don't think about it until someone's speaking, and you're like, what? They're right. Yep.
You need to hear it 5 times from 5 different people, because one person says it the way that your mind really understands it.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Don't beat yourself up. It's the holidays. Enjoy yourself. Yep. I'll get this out over the next couple of weeks. And hopefully people can kind of have some time to kick around what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'll try to get this out first week of December, because I don't want this content to be irrelevant by the time that people are actually seeing it. But I have one more thing for you.
Sure.
Right? Did I tell you about Burn the Ship, like the illusion, where we kind of got the name from?
No, actually, that's a good question. Huh?
So Hernan Cortez, right, conquistador, big armada of ships, leaves Europe, lands in Central America, right? And so the story is that he had like fear of mutiny, and he was like very paranoid about the feelings of his men. So they arrive in Central America, and he tells all of his men to disassemble their ships and burn them, right? So they take all their supplies off the ship and they set them on fire, right? And the reason, besides his one ship, the one ship that he came on so that they can move around the coast.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that he did that was because he told everybody, we are figuring out here or we're dying, and that there will be no change of command because I have already decided where we are in the terms that we're going to be here. Maybe the stakes aren't quite as grave, but we draw that same illusion to small business, right? It's like everybody has this light switch moment where they're like, I'm going all in on my business. I've got to figure out how to make it here or my business is going to die. Like, these are the terms that I have to operate on, and I'm going to operate within those terms, and I'm going to make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
My question is this. What does it feel like to burn the ship? You know, what does it feel like to go all in on your business? What does it feel like to become that entrepreneur and have that moment where you say, oh, I'm an entrepreneur now. I've got to figure it out. And why should all of the people that are watching this podcast kind of kicking over the rock, figuring out what they need to know before they go in and start their own business, why should they seek out that same experience?
It's exciting. By far, it's exciting. It's also very, very scary.
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely terrifying at times. But there's just, I don't know. That's a very good question, and I'm going to stumble on that one for a minute.
Take your time. Think about it.
I hadn't thought of it that way. So, I don't know. There's just knowing that what I'm doing can impact others, and the aim, of course, for me is I've always been the type that I really like the idea of being able to help things come to life, so to speak.
Sure.
You know what I mean? One of the things I dove into was project management. And that's because I love to see things go from like at the beginning.
Yeah, the gratification that you get from seeing it
absolutely
finish.
And so it's kind of the same thing, I think.
Oh yeah.
Just that idea of being able to build this thing and make it come to life and see it to fruition. And I think that's what's helped drive me to keep going, even when I have had, especially in the first year, those doubts that hit you and it gets more terrifying at that. I'm failing. I'm not going to be able to make it. Just that drive that pushes you forward, and it's I don't know. It's a kind of an exhilarating, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else to answer on that one, but
that's
yeah,
the right answer. It's like it's a flurry of emotions that it's really hard to understand, and.
And from day to day, it can be completely different. You can have one day that you're just completely down on yourself, and you're like, I can't do this. What am I doing? Have I lost my mind? But then you wake up the next day and you're like, what was that? Okay, move on.
Yeah.
And you push yourself forward again. And I think I've gotten to the point now that when I have those down days, and I still have them. When I have those down days, I actually, in the back of my mind, I will push and remind myself, yeah, you're going to have these days, and it's okay to have them. It's okay to have those moments when you're feeling that way. What won't be okay for me to do, is to accept it and just
chalk it up,
and just quit.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, it's okay. I'm going to have a bad day. I'm going to cry it out or whatever the scenario is, but
you might have
tomorrow,
5 in a row. You never know.
Yep. But I know that I can push past it because I've already done it. And I think that just kind of becomes the thing that, ups and downs, just like we were talking about. If your finances will go up and down, your momentum will go up and down. Everything kind of, it's a roller coaster, so to speak.
Yeah.
And yes, it is very much a cycle you're going to go through. I've seen lots of the memes and things like that show the different illustrations of success. And, when we're younger, we think success is, I want to succeed, and it should be just a straight shot, but it's not.
Oh,
it's
no,
just
it's not
how it is.
It's not. You got to earn it. The universe has a weird way of making you earn it. I truly believe that.
And success is also a cycle, because just because you get to one success doesn't mean it's all over.
Oh yeah, for sure. Money makes problems, you start figuring out different stuff and breaking down different issues, and issues get more complex, and things like that happen, But the thing that is exciting for me and refreshing for me when I have these conversations is I know that I say it all the time. Like, this is my last job. You know, this is my last boss.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've met so many wonderful people like yourself that I know I can lean on whenever I decide to undertake that entrepreneur journey for myself. You know, whether it's building a piece of technology from a startup perspective, or just building a client base and a book of business for something that I'm already familiar with. The refreshing thing about it is that there are people that will help you take care of that time and energy investment in what you're doing, like yourself, like me, like countless other people. Like, there are people that you can lean on. There are people that you can go to help to, and I appreciate you for being one of those people, and I appreciate you for joining us on the podcast. So if you have anything else to leave the audience with, please, the floor is yours, the platform is yours. Please at least tell people how to find you if they want to buy something from you.
Okay. Well, my website is quickwinbookkeeping.com, just how it sounds. Like I said, we're going through a bit of a change right now. We're going to be updating our website and stuff, but because we're adding the advisory services, that's something that we're really getting excited about, because that, to me, is going to be the next phase that we can really bring
For sure.
a lot of value
Oh, yeah.
to clients, to really help them bring their business up to the next level. And I'm very excited about that aspect. So, yeah, I appreciate you inviting me. Yeah.
I'm excited with you.
Yeah.
Maybe we do this again in a year or something.
Okay.
Sit back and laugh at how far you've came.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
We're very excited for next year. And
me too.
yeah.
I'm excited for you. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Burn the
Appreciate it.
ship.